Hey guys, welcome to our podcast. And today on our podcast, me and my wife Afreen will be talking about dream vacations. So this is a new series we are starting as far as our podcasts are concerned, where we will be talking about the vacations that we have taken over the last 10 to 15 years and our dream vacations, the places where we went and we loved the experience in those places. And today's podcast will be discussing about our dream vacation in London in 2015. And over to you, Afreen. I know you were in Europe back then, and we visited like 16 countries in that, I think, 4 or 5 years. The two of us visited 16 countries, and you visited a few more. So over to you. You were doing the planning and everything. So you want to start?
So basically, in 2014, my organization sent me to Germany, and so I had a free visa or the Schengen visa, which allowed me to travel everywhere without worrying about applying for a visa. But UK does need a visa because it was out of the European Union. So yeah, what I did as soon as I landed in Germany was look for the top 10 must-see places in Europe, and London was obviously one of them. So today we chose to talk about London. We have absolutely wonderful memories about London, and like in terms of, I feel like artists, uh, such as the kind of tiles they make, the kind of I don't know, like there are things that only they do. Like they have this ancient stuff that nobody else does that. They have home stores that's unlike anywhere I've seen, not in US, not anywhere. They have this John Williams home store. I mean, it just blows my mind how beautiful they were, how accessible they were. And yeah, because of all the, authors and cricket being, played there for such a long time, even the underground railway system, it's been around since 1860 and it's got like 278 stations. Can you believe it?
Wow. Wow.
So it's really a marvelous place. It has this centuries and centuries of traditions and culture. I mean, who can forget the queen? The queen herself was around for hundreds of years, right? So
Right.
there is so much mystery. There is so much um yeah, there's so many stories around London, and they ruled all over the world. So obviously there is a lot to talk about, there is a lot to discover, and it does make for a very fun trip.
Okay, so I opened the slide with this movie called DDLJ, the longest running cinema ever in the history of cinema. A lot of portions of the movie is shot in London, and you see Amrish Puri on the right hand side. He's feeding the pigeons in the Trafalgar Square. The movie starts from there. So obviously, it's extremely iconic. I'm a huge Shah Rukh fan. Afreen also loves Shah Rukh. So great memories from that movie. So when Afreen told me we were going to take vacation in London, I think the first thing that came into my mind was, yes, this is the city where DDLJ was shot. So I was super excited about it. And the next is our all-time favorite series, which is Friends. And London Baby, that's my uh, most favorite moment from the show when Joey keeps getting excited that they're going to London and they actually shot in London. The whole cast and crew went to London to shoot the series. And this was the first time they moved out of the sets and moved to London to shoot. The third reference, and Afreen, I want you to talk about this.
So basically, the very first day that we went there, we uh, like in Germany, the trains were such that you could press a button and then it would open up. So you could actually stop a train, Bihar style, People would pull the chain in Bihar to stop the train for somebody. But here in Germany, you could push a button so that when somebody is getting in, the door would automatically open up and you would be able to get in. So we were at a train station and Karthik got inside and I was like, is it the right train? Is it not the right train? And I did not put my foot on the door while it was closing. And even if you do, sorry guys, we are in the middle of a
A
hurricane.
hurricane.
So we keep getting these notifications that we are going to die.
Yeah,
And
Hurricane Milton. Yeah.
yeah, Hurricane Milton is on and we are utilizing that to do our logging. So yeah, so I thought if I put my foot in the door, it will either automatically open up or somebody will see and push a button to open the door. But London trains don't do that. They close irrespective of whether somebody is stuck in between the doors or not. So I immediately uh like pushed myself out of the train, like kind of like, did not get in the train, and Karthik was in the train. And Karthik used to come from India, so he did not have a mobile phone, or he just purchased the mobile phone from UK itself,
A
like a
SIM
SIM
card, a
from
UK SIM card. Yeah.
a UK
Mhm.
SIM card. So we did not really exchange our phone numbers, but we had a
Right.
friend named Vignesh who actually kind of sponsored our visa, like in terms of saying that, they are coming to visit me. So Karthik had Vignesh's number. I had Vignesh's number. So Karthik told Vignesh that, she's been left back at the station. So can you talk to her? And then Vignesh was texting me. And so I was somewhere, I reached somewhere. I knew where to go, which station to go. So I reached there. And I was looking a little bit lost, like, where is Karthik on the train station? And since it's cold in London, like people just go home. Like nobody loiters around the train station like India. There are millions of people on the train station. It's absolutely empty. So suddenly I hear a sound on the train station speaker saying, "Hey girl, do you need help? Why are you here?" And I'm like, "What? What the hell is going on?" And then she tells me to come to the ticket window, and she's like, "What happened?" I'm like, "Oh, my husband got left behind, and he's somewhere else. He's going to come here." And she's like, "Oh, are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's my first time here." So. And then I was like, "I'm really hungry. I just came from Germany and I'm hungry." And she's like, "Oh, I have some chocolates." And she was very nice to me. So that was our first night, the experience with the tube, as they call it. The underground railway is called the tube.
And
And
I just correct me if I'm wrong, because I remember either I did not have the network on my phone when I
no,
reached the station. So when I reached the station, I believe you saw me on the camera from the. You were sitting in the
I was
place
sitting
where.
outside. I was not allowed to go inside, but she kind of like, "Is that your husband?" I was like, "Yeah, yeah, he's my husband."
And
She's
did
like,
you guys
"Karthik."
announce my name or you called me? I don't remember that very clearly. Did you guys announce my name on the
I don't
mic?
think so, but you kind of like, we told you probably, I don't know, I don't remember, but yeah, we just met and we're like, "Oh, finally we're together."
And that was the first day, and it was
That was
pretty
our
crazy to
first
start
day
with, right?
during, just after dinner. I was very hungry, and then we were glad to be together again. And yeah, it's called the tube, and it always keeps saying, "Mind the gap, mind the gap." So the
Yeah.
picture Karthik showed before, where the minions keep saying, "Mind the gap, mind the gap." They shout at everybody in the train station, "Mind the gap," and they just run off. So when
Yeah,
we
because the gap, I think there is a little gap between the
train
train and
station and the
the
train,
platform, and but the people keep announcing the trains. They keep announcing mind the gap, and so it was a kind of spoof on that. So when we watched Minions and we were watching that scene, in fact, one of the things that we love about our vacations is when we watch a movie a little later, whether it's a Da Vinci Code or whether it is a Mission Impossible or many other movies, right? And then we see our the place that we went to, and we're like, "Hey, we went here, we went there," and these are the things that happen. So it increases our knowledge about these places, and we have that fun references when we watch a movie. So yeah, when we were watching Minions, this was a fun moment for us.
I mean, traveling actually increases your general knowledge without you having to read, or you're experiencing it. So it increases your pop cultural reference. You understand more of what people are talking about. Sometimes two people may have a conversation, and if you're a third party listening in, you may not even understand half the things because you haven't had as much exposure in terms of travel, in terms of watching something, reading something, experiencing something. So
Right.
apart from the fact that traveling kind of makes you free, that you don't have to get up and go to office the next day, you're going to experience, outside nature, water, architecture, and your knowledge increases. I mean, the way we do our tours are, we plan it ourselves of
You plan
based
it.
on
Yeah.
based on what we have heard, like in what we already know, we try to go there. And then we go to websites like Visit a City, which gives you an entire itinerary for the, let's say, 3 day or 5 day, whatever. And then you choose. And if it doesn't sound interesting to you, you can strike it off. But the way we do it is, the very first day, we take a break. We land around evening. We take a break. We have a good sleep, and the next day we book a tour. And most of these European nations have free tours where you tip at the end of the tour. So you can give anything from $5 to $20. It's up to you. But those 2 or 3 hours of tour will give you a general idea of what this country, city is about. And
Right.
that piques your interest in many topics that you might be interested in. Somebody might be interested in architecture, somebody in cricket, somebody in the authors, the literature part of it. There's just so many aspects to London. So based on that, and then if you have a husband like Karthik, like he will accommodate my interest, and then I will accommodate his interest. Like, I'm not interested in cricket, but I went to the Lords with him because, yeah, I could see the happiness, and then I also learned something about it, right?
Right. Right.
So
And Madame Tussauds. I mean, I think both of us were equally interested in Madame Tussauds, right? Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, so that was the minion picture, and that was our pop culture reference, and how like our eyes light up when we see a moment in movies based on our travels. We're like, "Oh, we've been there. We know what is Mind the Gap. We know what are they talking about. We know this place. We know the reference of this place. We know the importance of this place." So it's yeah, it's basically that.
Yes, and once again, when we visited London, and I remember we went to watch a movie in a place called Odeon in Leicester Square, and when we reached there, we realized that the movie was not in Leicester Square. It was in some other place called Leicester. I think it's another town outside
Leicester or
London.
something.
It's the same name, but it's not the Leicester Square within London. It's another city. And but when I reached there, the first thing I realized was in DDLJ, the scene where Shah Rukh and Kajol cross each other, but they do not know each other, right? They just cross each other. That scene was shot in that place. So for me, it was like, wow, we reached the place unknowingly. We reached this place, and this is a place where that scene was shot. So I love it when I go to a place and I realize, oh wow, this is where my favorite movie was shot, or one of the scenes was shot. And the other thing about visiting these cities that I felt that because of you we did was we used to live in Airbnb, and a lot of times with a particular person who lives in that city. So we get to interact with them, we get to know a little more about that city from them. And then we use the public transportation. We used to walk a lot in Europe. Like I remember I used to get blisters on my foot. There's a picture on our Facebook with blisters. I didn't want to put it in our presentation, but that's
Oh,
that's
you should
how
have.
much. No, I don't want to. But anyways, so we used to go to these places and walk a lot. We used to take only public transportation, and so that way we experience the city not just as a tourist, but as someone who was a part of that city. And that's a completely different feeling altogether, right? That you're not a
I
tourist;
mean,
you are a part of that city.
yeah, I mean, it's a culture in Europe to walk and to bike, which I mean cycling. So these
Right.
two things, when I went to Germany the first time, I had two of my colleagues slash friends, Udia and Anthony, and they were pretty like not overweight, and I'm still super overweight, and at that time also, I could never keep up with them. They would actually walk like maybe 50 steps ahead of me. So I used to work in a data center, and they would have to buzz us in through the gate, and the reception lady would always ask me like, "Why don't you walk with them? Why are you 50 steps behind them?" I'm like, "Because I cannot keep up. Like, that's it's not that I'm walking behind them on purpose. I cannot keep up." So, but over a period of time, just roaming around with them in the Alstad, as they call it, the older part of the city where there is no traffic allowed, no cars allowed. You have no option but to walk. Like the
Mhm.
picture behind me near the London Bridge. You see that it's all cobbled.
And that's you. Yeah,
Yeah, it's all cobbled stones. The cars are not allowed. You don't have an option but to walk, and it's miles of walking. So, uh, yeah, so you kind of like become healthier. Walking doesn't bother you, cycling doesn't bother
absolutely.
you. You get used to it. You become healthier as well.
Completely. So this is our favorite picture. It's there on our gallery wall as well. And we just happened to take this picture and we love this picture. And it's a selfie stick that Afrin used to carry, and he could take a picture from that. And this was, I believe, near the London Tower, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it just a beautiful memory. This is with us. This has been with us since 2015 and will be with us till the end of our life. So, these are the memories that we create. And when we look at these pictures, we remember the great time we had. That time we were living apart. And so these were the times when we would get together, I think 30 days in a year, 15 days during Afrin's birthday. This was during Afrin's birthday, and 15 days during my birthday. These were the 30 days we would be together, and we would cherish every single moment. So, I started the slide with this picture of ours. And okay, day two. So day two starts with Madame Tussauds, and these are the pictures that we have clicked at the Madame Tussauds with Shah Rukh Khan, with Sachin Tendulkar, with my favorite Star Wars, with Terminator, and with Mahatma Gandhi, right? So I think this is how we started the day two, right?
Yeah, it was too hot and we didn't want to walk around, so we thought that we can spend time here, and it's kind of the thing to do in London. There were many, many more pictures from, pictures with the Queen and Princess Diana and Shrek. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Spider-Man. We have hundreds of pictures, so it is
Right.
the thing to do. Like Madame Tussauds started from there, so amazing, amazing experience.
Exactly. Okay, so these are two pictures. On the left, we have a picture outside 221B, which is the ones who are a big Sherlock fan. This was the place where Sherlock Holmes used to live. And on the right, we have the telephone booth, which is extremely popular in London. Okay, so with regards to the Sherlock Holmes house, since I started watching Sherlock Holmes, I was very excited to visit that place outside his store, and take pictures there. And for the telephone booth, we have seen in so many multiple pictures the red color telephone booth, which London is famous for, right? And you see it in a lot of movies, Jab Tak Hai Jaan, and many other movies. where the scene is shot there. So that was exciting for us. So this is day three, and we started our day three with Trafalgar Square. After you want to start our day experience in Trafalgar Square?
Yeah, I mean, what I love about European countries is that there is enough open space for public to enjoy freely, free of cost, and you can lounge around for hours and just spend time with friends and all. So Karthik wanted to go there, I think, because in DDLJ, Amrish Puri is shown to feed the pigeons there with like ow, ow,
Right.
and I think that's the reason we went there. But it's just an open public space with a beautiful fountain. And I think at the back is the Parliament House, and it has a courtyard with a statue of Nelson Mandela and Gandhiji, and it was commissioned by Richard Attenborough's wife or something like that. Yeah, so it has a good feel to it.
Right. So that's one place we visited, and then we followed it up with Big Ben. This is a picture at the Big Ben.
It's one of my most favorite pictures. We look good, and the police officers in the back kind of are like indicative of it almost look as if we photoshopped them. But it's a fun picture. It's really difficult to get your picture alone with Big Ben because the other tourist on the side is also taking a picture. But yeah, it's one of my favorite pictures.
This is London Eye.
There are things and architectural references which will scream that you are in that place, right? So like, let's say in the movie somebody wants to show that these characters are in London, they would immediately show either the London Eye, the London Bridge, the red telephone box, or something like that. So in just terms of like experiencing a reference, an iconic reference, London Eye, what is London Eye? London Eye is nothing but a Ferris wheel, and it moves slowly, so you enjoy the whole experience of going up and getting a bird's eye view of the place. And it is absolutely beautiful. Water is everywhere in Europe, and they use the both the sides of the water really well. They develop it well, and it's absolutely beautiful. It should be experienced for sure.
Okay, now we move to day four. On day four, we started with the Museum of Tower of London, and these are the pictures outside of the Museum of Tower of London. Afrin, your words.
So this is the museum which has, I don't know, they looted centuries of countries, so they have enough stuff to display. I am not a big museum fan, so we chose to just do this jewelry section, I think. That's what I remember, and that's because Kohinoor diamond is there. So I was like, what does Kohinoor diamond look like? And you're not allowed to take pictures inside, so that's what we have from the net. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
the biggest, one of the biggest diamonds the world has ever seen. And there was a tour or somebody speaking about Kohinoor, that there is a curse of the Kohinoor where only women can own it or wear it, and if men or there have been princesses who there have been prince who have owned it and they have lost their empire. So yeah, I didn't know about that curse, and that was an interesting fact to know, apart from the beauty of the diamond itself.
Okay, so that was the trivia about Kohinoor. Now, the next place we visited was Sky Garden. I have some pictures of Sky Garden here.
I think we were in
And
the train and somebody said the best place to get a bird's eye view, a night view from like a height, is Sky Garden because it's free. It's beautiful. You can have drinks over there. There's a bar inside, and look at how many trees are there inside. And look at the number
yeah,
of people in the second picture. Like, it's an absolutely very active and very popular place, especially when it's free. So
yes.
we could have either gone to this very famous building called Shards, or we could have gone here. We chose to go here, and it was absolutely beautiful. You can go to Sky Garden to have like a good time.
Exactly. And the view is amazing. You sit and spend hours looking at the view, right? And this is Piccadilly Circus, right?
So again, when we were in the tube, I think somebody said that the Times Square of London is Piccadilly Circus, and we had not experienced Times Square till then, but we are like, okay, let's go. So all these billboards, the neon signs, everything is kind of similar to how Times Square is now that we've seen it. And
And
apart from that, the absolute scene that is alive, like girls dancing, with huge music boxes and all that, is at midnight, when usually Europeans are known to sleep early. It was absolutely alive and thriving, and it was so much fun to see all these people dancing freely and enjoying
yeah,
themselves at midnight.
the last picture that we see is the dungeon. It's on the extreme right hand side where I am raising my hand like this. So any memory about the dungeon that you have?
London Dungeon is underground, and they give you an entire tour of I don't know, the plague and all those bad things that used to happen during those times, and
Mhm.
how people would get impacted, and they scare you a lot, with those people dressed up like like how they dress up in Halloween. So they scare you a lot, and I think they were like pretty good actors, and They're very scary. Some of the kids were crying. So it was absolutely
Yeah.
fun. This is at the end. They don't allow photos. So at the end, they ask you to act scared. So Karthik is doing a good job of getting scared. I am like, I want to look pretty. So yeah, but it was so
I'm
much fun,
overacting. Yeah. Yeah.
like always.
Like
But it
always.
was absolute fun. I have it in my notes that it's a must watch. So we would have really enjoyed that.
Day 5. And this is the London Bridge. I'll quickly show the pictures so that we can be seen on full screen when we talk. So these are some of the pictures. Me doing overacting again on the right hand side. Um, I love that there are these people who dress up and you take pictures with them. And what is this place on the left hand side? It's
There
just
is this building. It's known as the Ugly Penis Building because it looks like one. So
this one. Okay. Okay.
yeah, and the London Bridge is iconic. When these things have been around for hundreds of years, if not thousands. Buildings which are built well and maintained well, they will surpass us and many generations. So the London Bridge is iconic,
Yeah.
especially with the bridge opening up and letting the ships pass. Uh, to see that, I've never seen that before anywhere else. So to see that was absolutely like marvelous. And I didn't know that you could actually go up the bridge, and then the passage that connects both the towers. There is a glass bottom. Part of the bridge has a glass bottom. The upper aisle.
Yeah. Should I show the picture
Yeah, go ahead.
so that people can connect with it? Yeah.
It
So
is
the one in
absolutely
the center
scary
and on
to
the right.
walk on it. It's pretty high. I don't know, like maybe 5, 6 floors high. It doesn't look
I
like
don't seem
something that
scared, right?
I was
Or
pretty
was I
scared. That's
acting?
why I don't have many pictures there. But I'm surprised that I was scared because I'm not afraid of heights, and Karthik is, but he doesn't. He's
Yeah, I
acting
was acting.
again.
I remember that every time we were going to click a picture, just for a second, I will go there. I would almost not see anything, right? And once you click the picture, I would run on the side. So yes, I'm very, very scared of heights. So it's just all acting, that I'm doing here. And on the left hand side, we have the machine, right?
The engine room. It's called the engine room, which actually the pulley thing that opens up the bridge for the ships to pass. It's not only like, you don't just look at the architecture, you learn a lot about engineering and how it's been around for hundreds of years, right? So, and they give you a tour about that. So it is just an overall like a very holistic kind of experience. You're faring, you're learning, you're marveling at the architecture, the beauty, everything.
So this is on the extreme right is me sitting on it. I don't know how I did it, but yes, you can see why it can be scary, right? Because you kind of are in that illusion that
That you may fall.
fall, right? And I know I think we saw a few kids who were getting really scared and almost crying when they were walking on it. It was like you feel that you're going to fall, whereas this is a very strong glass. There is no way you're going to fall, but it's just that thing, right? And the center one, I like this picture. It's a very cute picture of yours, in the on the bridge. They're walking on the bridge, and I think on the left hand side, both of us are walking, and
And there is a story about the thing being painted blue after, I don't know, 100 years or 200 years, something like that. I don't remember what there is a story about.
I think this is clicked on a booth, right? Except for
Yeah, there is something inside the London Bridge where they let you take 4 pictures or something. And yeah, so that's
yes.
what it was.
Okay, now this is the Mahatma Gandhi statue. On the left, we have the Nelson Mandela statue. I think Afreen has already spoken about that, about both these statues. And this is one of our favorite things that we did in London. I mean, we both are fond of
I think
food,
we
so
went inside Westminister Abbey, which is a beautiful building. We actually were in the cafeteria after we got the tour, and I had ordered something. And then I saw somebody else eating this, and I was like, what is it? Like, this is the English tea experience where you have 3 layers of, different things being put on. The bottommost is scones, and then there are sandwiches of different kinds, and the end is dessert. And you will have this English tea experience. It's pretty expensive. In fact, in US and all, in Carlisle Hotel, it's like $300 for this experience, but here it's cheaper. But the English tea experience is the most satisfying experience. Like, it
absolutely.
warms your soul, and they keep giving you tea after tea and milk after milk. And it's a very mild form of tea, not like the masala tea that we have in India, which kind of wakes you up. It's like, mildly you're sipping your tea, and all these wonderful scones. Scones are so good, and the sandwiches, and we eat vegetarian only, so there were some vegetarian sandwiches that they got us and all the desserts. Like, what's not to like? It's everything. And it is an experience. There is this setting. It's usually a beautiful setting that you are sitting in, overlooking a garden, a beautiful restaurant, or something like that. And then you are eating these wonderful things with a very soul satisfying kind of a tea. So I recommend English tea anywhere. Like, don't miss it ever.
Absolutely. In fact, I remember after having this experience, I wanted to have this experience every day back in India. I mean, I didn't pursue it eventually, but I was like, it would be great to have maybe some idlis on the top, something, a sambar in between, some chutneys, and have this thing. Yeah, I'm inspired now. I think we should try something back here.
Yeah, the Indian tea experience. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yes. Yeah, right. Idlis or dosas at the top and something like that.
Yeah.
But I had an experience in Bombay with the Turkish tea, where they give you different those baklavas and all those different things. It was a very interesting experience, in the South Bombay. I don't remember the place now. Okay, so this is Hyde Park. Recently, I have started biking a lot or cycling a lot more. But I think back then, this was a very rare experience for me. Brought up in Bombay and with my mom being super scared of me riding a bike or a cycle outside, she would never let me ride it outside my building compound. So riding it here in the park, and this is before Central Park, right? So it was a very nice experience. You can talk more about the Hyde Park experience.
Again, being in Europe, I don't know, the way we were probably raised, and we didn't have open spaces to enjoy. We didn't have the luxury of enjoying outdoor spaces as such. Outdoor was just to get from point A to B. I don't remember really enjoying something outdoorsy, like sitting by a lake, feeding ducks, going for a bike ride around lakes or something, like, a safe
Mhm.
place, a beautiful place, nothing like that. So being in Europe, I saw like people were on the weekend, they had other things to do except for like just going to movies. They would just bike around for hours. They would sit in nature, enjoy food and drinks in nature. There were definitely times when we did that. My family, I remember we used to go to RA Colony park, and we did that once or twice. And there is a Borivali National Park, but yeah, I mean, just like a clean space, a safe space, as well as beautiful space, So those are things that you kind of get to appreciate in all European countries. They all have these wonderful parks, and Hyde Park. Yeah, it was absolutely worth the half an hour that we spent biking around.
Now we come to a last day, right? Day six was the last day for
This is
us.
for the last day. That's the day when we were supposed to fly in the evening. So we decided to use the daytime to complete whatever we could not in the first 5 days. So we went to Buckingham Palace, and we did not see the changing of the guard ceremony. There is one apparently, but I don't know. It's just guards changing places. Like, it didn't excite us, but we just went outside. We got the vibe of the place, and yeah, so that was Buckingham Palace. I guess it's a must visit for the fans of the Queen or fans of the royalty.
So the next picture that I would be showing you, and I think I'm going to be talking a lot now, this is Lords. The people who have been following cricket, and most Indians have been following cricket. This is considered to be like the Mecca of cricket. So Lords is the place where we won the first World Cup. So obviously the biggest thing for an Indian is winning the World Cup, right? So the first World Cup couple, they won it here. And so I was super excited to go to have a tour of Lords, so we could go inside, we could see the ground, we were given a proper tour, right? And that was extremely exciting for me. And so these are some of the pictures that we took. On the extreme left hand side, if you see, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to repeat the act of Saurav Ganguly. So this is a place where, and there is a bit of history here. Uh, in India, England team won in one of the finals, and one of their players, Andrew Flintoff, he took off his T-shirt and he started waving. This was in Bombay, and Saurav Ganguly was the captain back then. Then we immediately, a little later, we flew to England, London, and we had a match at the Lords. The final was at the Lords. We were chasing a huge total of 326 runs. It looked impossible that we would be able to chase it. And there was a miracle that happened. Mohammad Kaif and Yuvraj Singh, they took us through and we won. And that's when Saurav Ganguly, who was seated and was watching the match, as soon as we won, he took off his T-shirt and waved it to the crowd. It was a revenge that he took. So I was like so happy to visit that exact spot where Saurav Ganguly had taken off his t-shirt. So that's what I'm doing here in the picture below that. This is where they were talking about, and there was a Englishman who was giving us the tour, and he wasn't happy about what Saurav Ganguly did. He said that, Ganguly was reprimanded, he was fined, and I was like, I don't think any of us cared. I'm sure Ganguly didn't care being fined, because this was such a big moment, an historic moment for all of us cricket fans. So these are some more pictures of the Lord. This is, I believe, the World Cup, and this is how it would look from the commentary, from the place there where
The
they give the
media room.
commentary,
This is
the
where all
media
the
room.
media.
I had so many great things to look forward to in London. As I said, it's a place where DDLJ was shot. It's a place where India won the World Cup, where Saurav Ganguly took off his t-shirt and waved, where Friends was shot, some of the crazy episodes of Friends, and Sherlock Holmes, the home of Sherlock Holmes. So, and Madame Tussauds, so many things. As a movie buff, as a cricket buff, so many things to look forward to. And Afreen, for you, I think you had many things
So
that you loved as well.
one of the things that I saw was called Somerset Maugham Museum.
Mm-hmm.
And when we were kids, we had a wonderful English textbook in CBSE board called Web of Life. It
Okay.
has stories from Leo Tolstoy, from Somerset Maugham, one of my favorites, because it had a wicked fun element to it. Like there was a story about a boy who had stolen 17 oranges from a shipping dockyard because he was poor and hungry, but he was caught by a policeman and he's put in a jail with the 17 oranges inside the jail. So he's like, how do I get out of this? So what he does is he eats all the 17 oranges with the peel and with the seeds. So when the policeman comes back, where are the oranges? Like, no, there's no oranges. I never stole anything. What are you talking about? So this was a Somerset Maugham story, and I saw this museum dedicated to him, but we did not have time to go there. So we did not enjoy the literary aspect, what London authors are known for. And if we ever get a chance to go back, then we would probably explore other aspects like that. And we didn't do much shopping. Like Harrods is there. Harrods is known to give you a luxurious experience there. They have something very famous in their bakery, which is a must try. So yeah, there's a lot that we didn't do. And I think it's like a place where one would just like to live and explore more places. There is a shopping destination called Oxford Street, Carnby Street or something, Regent Street. I'm just looking at internet now because I don't remember, but there are high-end stores from Mayfair, Bond Street. There's a lot of stuff. So we did not explore those things, and I would have loved to do that had I had the time or the money, probably. So yeah, London is all your senses, whether it's smell, touch, looking at something. It will enrich you in every which way, and there is something for everybody. Literary, sports, architecture, everything. There is no end to
Absolutely.
London. So go and explore London if you can.
Yes, and we will continue with the series, and we will be talking about the different other different cities. I think the next one we might do is Paris, right? Which is I love Paris. It's I think Mumbai, Paris, London, and New York. These are the four cities I love the most because they carry the similar vibe, right? Born and brought up in Bombay, the vibe that you get from Bombay is similar to the other three cities that I mentioned. So I love these cities. So next, hopefully, we'll do about Paris, and then we have so many other places that we have to cover. So I'm very excited. And thank you, Afreen. Unfortunately, the kind of person that I am, I forget a lot of things about the places that I visit. And you have a very good memory, and you remember every single detail of what we did. And
Actually, I did not remember the thing you said about Shah Rukh and Kajol crossing each other on that. I did not
okay,
remember that, and I'm glad that reliving this has brought back that memory from somewhere that you had stored away, and I didn't even know that you remembered that. So it came out during this podcast. So
yeah,
traveling is just wonderful. It just stores memories somewhere where you don't know, and then you pick it out one day when you relive it. So yeah, thank you, Karthik, for this wonderful experience.
thank you, and thank you, guys. See you soon.